Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to offer Dana, then please do go to justthiszen.org/giving. Your support really does make a huge difference. Thank you so much.
Oh, hello. Oh, how lovely to see you all. Oh, I can just see me now. I don't like that bit. I don't know about you, but suddenly when there's just you on the screen, I'll put it back to gallery view. Oh. Well, it's been a curious week, and I'm, as ever, grateful to have the opportunity to reflect and for you to share my reflections a little bit. I'm particularly grateful, I think, for the teachings we've had at the beginnings of this term, if you want to put it that way, and they've been kind of running through me, as I'm sure they've been running through you and percolating through you. And I was particularly noticing that I listened to Flint's inquiry last week, and the idea, that sense of being, if you try to stay on the trail, that actually you're getting lost, and that really kind of struck me. Of I think I'm pretty good at meandering, generally speaking. I'm not sure I've got straight trails in any shape or form, but this evening I just wanted to share with you a few things that had inspired me, if you like, or touched me. Not exactly turning words like Josh was mentioning in one of his talks, but more things that I've met along the way, and yeah, and I read in Joan Sutherland's book, Through Forests of Every Colour. She says that, and I'll have to get my piece of paper here. I was going to be really organised before I started tonight, and then the two young ladies who live next door decided they would come round and talk about university and A-levels. So, of course, which was lovely. I loved that they came, but of course I wasn't. So that means any bits of paper that I had are not organised. But she talks about the 8th century Chan master, and I don't know whether I can pronounce his name, Shitu Zikiam, I don't know, who's the author of the Song of the Grass Hut and the Sandukai. So you may have heard of him through that. One of the things that he said is, whatever meets your eye is the way. Whatever meets your eye is the way. I've kind of heard of the same way, said what's in the way is the way, but that was struck me a little bit different. Whatever meets your eye is the way, and I was thinking about, I went to see Josh on Tuesday, I think it was, and I went to Lancaster, and I was thinking about, sort of the fact that every journey that we take, however small, is kind of a small pilgrimage. And I was thinking, well, I went on a small pilgrimage on Tuesday, and I was thinking, well, what was I taking with me? Because we've always got a backpack, haven't we? Even if we don't want one, we've got a backpack. And my backpack is full of, obviously, all of the things that are, all the causes and conditions that make Lynne Moore, to start off with. But then there were also things that I had in my backpack that were things that I've been reflecting on. I've been reading a book recently, which is called Colours, which is a book about by a lady who goes all over the world to investigate how we began to use pigments and dyes and things to do with the paint box, the colours that we use in our everyday life. So that was kind of sitting with me, and how we see colour, and you probably will know more than I do if you're scientific at all about this, but we it's really a whole illusion, really, isn't it? It's just our eye thing, our own eye process. And if I can find the bit that she says that there are sort of ways that we see it through there's a chemical reactions and there are physical. And chemical colours appear because they absorb some of the white light and reflect the rest. Well, we kind of know that, don't we? And the light that affects the object, it actually changes it. It actually causes it to rearrange its electrons. It's exciting. I think that's really exciting that light does that. And it's doing it to us as well, of course. It's doing it to everything. It's changing everything. And that actually it's through the vibration of the electrons and the things that don't absorb, that we see the colours. And I love colour. I don't know about you, but I absolutely, I love it. And I know that I will see it differently from each one of you. Each one of you will see it in a completely different way to me. If I say green, your idea of green will be different to mine. And I think that sort of that uniqueness. So I was carrying that in my backpack. I had this idea, that we all see things differently, and it's kind of an illusion, really, anyway, isn't it? And she had a little note from the 7th Dalai Lama, who said, "An image reflected in the mirror, a rainbow in the sky, and a painted scene make their impressions upon the mind, but in essence are other than what they seem. Look deeply at the world and see an illusion, a magician's dream." There we are. It's all just a dream. So I'm setting off with this. I'm going to catch a train, of course, which is a whole other thing, isn't it? And going to catch the train. And I was thinking, well, what else had I got in my backpack that was particularly things that had kind of touched me in ways that made me think about moving through the world. And one of the books that I have been reading for a while, I keep going back to it, is called The Old Ways by Robert Macfarlane. And in it, he describes at some point this gentleman that he meets who has this library. The library is not like any other library that you would think of. This library is a library of all these little boxes, and there are over 1,000 of them, all these little boxes, which are more like little pieces of art, if you like. And he's collected, every time he's gone on a walk in this particular part of Spain, I think it is, where he lives, he's collected the things that met him along the way, and he's brought them back and he's put them in these boxes and he's filed them all, and they're like these beautiful books, if you like, but they're not books. And I was thinking, well, what are the things that I'll be collecting along the way as I go today on my journey? And can I share them with you in some way? And how do I begin to do that? I haven't got a box, and well, not that you can look at and see, but he collects all sorts of things. He collects things like feathers and pieces of stone, and yeah, any of the things that you would find on a walk or that find you, and each one somehow holds something of of life, I suppose you would say, in it, and the beauty of the world. So I've put together a few slides. That was the only way that I could think of doing this, and I'm hoping that in some way they will take you on my journey with me. And one of the things that was really sitting with me on my journey was that the quote that Flint offered and also Josh offered that came from Emily Dickinson. And I'm making sure that I get it right as I look at my papers. I am out with lanterns looking for myself. I think we're doing that every day and all of the time, but I love the idea that we're out with lanterns. And so on this journey, in this small pilgrimage, I guess I was out with lanterns looking for myself as I walked along. And I'm going to share with you my screen and hope that these images give some idea. See that? Please give a thumbs up if you can see it. Sunflowers in the heart. These are some flowers that my daughter brought for me. And aren't they enormous? Gosh, they're absolutely huge, giant sunflowers and so beautiful. And they have lasted so long. And as I set off on my journey, they kind of made me think about what Katagiri Roshi says, which, again, if I can find the exact quote, because, you know, just to make sure that I get it right, is wherever you may be in this world, you can take care of your life by letting the beautiful flower of your life force bloom. Wherever you may be in this world, you can take care of your life by letting the beautiful flower of your life force bloom. What a way to begin. Just starting off. And we're all doing that, letting the beautiful flower of our life's force bloom. As Trudy has shared with us too. And then as I was thinking about being out with a lantern, here we are, I remembered that in my early 50s, when I was doing a course at Lancaster University, there was one of the lecturers there who had founded, through the welfare state, a particular festival in Ulverston, which is called the Lantern Festival. And they make lanterns, and believe me or not, it's next week. So if anybody's near Ulverston, which is a little town in Cumbria, and you can actually get your own lantern kit, and you can make your own lantern, and you can set off, and here they are setting off. So I was setting off. I didn't have one of these beautiful lanterns, but I just had the light inside of me. And then when I got to Josh's house, and we had practice discussion, which was lovely, and we went into the dining room, and out in the dining room, Trudy has a great big jigsaw that she's doing, and on the jigsaw was the cat. And I couldn't find a cat sitting on a jigsaw, I'm afraid, but I found this one who rather likes the books, and the cat, I think, has a real sense of ownership of the jigsaw. But it made me think also about one of the things that Frank Ostaseski says in his book, The 5 Invitations, when he talks about the third invitation, which is to bring the whole of yourself to the experience. And I was thinking, you know, I've been kind of thinking, well, what is this self that we're all talking about? And how the heck do I know what the whole of it is? I don't. I'm finding out all of the time who I am and what the world is. And, you know, it's like I have no sense of or shape of something defined. But the cat that was sitting on the jigsaw was also showing the fact that the jigsaw was not finished. And Frank Ostaseski says one of the things that we do with ourselves in our lives is that if we had a big jigsaw of the whole of who we are, everything about ourselves, what we'd be doing is we'd be taking out pieces that we didn't like. And we say, I don't want this bit because, oh, heck, what might somebody think? And I don't want that bit. So we'd never have a whole jigsaw. And of course, I think, you know, our practice is to keep meeting those bits that we don't really like. And one of the things that Josh shared again with one of his talks was about nesting dolls, you know, that we carry all of ourselves with us. We can never really, we can't really remove any bits. It's an illusion, isn't it? And so I found this picture that I had. My grandchildren, when they come to stay, love my nesting dolls. I call them Russian dolls, and there they are. All of the parts of ourselves. There are several of them. The clown in particular has about 7 little dolls that go inside it, and we carry them always with us. And I still don't know who this self is, and if there is such a thing. And Suzuki Roshi says, you know, you can't see yourself as an object. This is just another one of the missing pieces. What would it look like if we work out, if we could see ourselves as always having these missing pieces? And then you look at the whole shape of this person's head and the whole shape of them, and you think, oh, beautiful. Why would you want to have those pieces missing? And actually, it's those pieces that make us unique and who we are. And those are all related to our experiences and what we bring into the world. And in them, I think one of the things that really caught me on my small pilgrimage, and often does when I go on a journey, especially on the train, is both the beauty and the vulnerability and fragility of humanity, and my own included, you know, and how frail and fragile we are in some ways. And then when I was talking with Josh, we also shared about how robust we are. So it's like we have these elements within ourselves, but and at the end, we're all just doing our best as we go along. We're just doing our best to survive. So the next one was, as I was walking down Dallas Road, and if you've ever been in Lancaster down Dallas Road, the pavements are particularly uneven. And I was very aware of my own, you know, my knees are not as good as they used to be. So I had to be fairly careful with myself as I walk along. And I was thinking, well, you know, life is like that, isn't it? The pavements are not going to be smooth all the time. They're going to be uneven a lot of the time. There may be some holes even that we have to watch out for. And I think that just is how it is. If I expect it to be smooth, or if I expect it to be that direct path, and I don't have to deviate from it or move away or meet whatever it is that comes along, then I'm deluding myself. We're all deluding ourselves if we think that's how it's going to be, because life is not like that. But the uneven pavement isn't always easy to be with, and that's where we need each other. You know, I might have needed an arm along the way. I didn't, but I might have needed an arm along the way. This one's odd, isn't it? You're wondering where the heck this has come from. Well, as I was returning from my small pilgrimage and went back on the train, and I was sitting on the train, and I was aware that what was happening was that I was beginning to think about what are we having for tea, and have I got anything in, and have I got time to go to the shops before I get home, and all of that. And I was walking along, and I got into Leyland where I live, and was walking down the hill, and you know, and hardly noticing the people who were walking past. It was like, okay, you know. And then as I got down to the level crossing, which was just down at the bottom of the hill that I walked down, walking on this crossing was a lady with an owl. Well, you know, how does life wake you up sometimes? How many times do you walk across a zebra crossing and meet a lady with an owl? Not every day. so there she was, walking across this crossing with her owl. And I thought, oh well, there we go. That was like, you know, that was the that was the Hahn, the bang on the Hahn. Wake up, then, wake up. Where are you? Where are you right now in this moment as you walk through life? I have no idea where she was going with this owl. And she had it on her shoulder on a sort of chain thing. And I haven't seen her before. And I probably won't see her again. And then one of the things that I was thinking as I was moving through and thinking about, you know, let your life force bloom, let the flower be there. And whereas I don't know about you, but I'm really good at what was the saying? The saying used to be that my mum used to have: hide your head under or your light under a bushel, or something like that. And a bushel is like a big mountain of stuff. You know, don't show yourself to the world, and certainly don't say anything about what you do or what you love doing, or and this image is I've been playing with doing some printmaking recently, and so this was an image that just came out, and I'm going to be going with my Tai Chi group to, we're going to do some Tai Chi underneath. There's a great big inflatable moon that they're going to have at Blackburn Cathedral, and we're going to do some Tai Chi under the moon. So this is just a little image that I've been playing with and seeing what turns out. I love seeing what arises, you know. So I'm going to stop the share there, and I think that's enough. And I suppose one of the things that I'd asked myself lots of times is this thing about how do I bring my whole self, and what does that mean? And I think, you know, in any moment, there are so many different elements of who we are and how we respond to that moment, and how do we go to that deeper place rather than the place where that's just reaction. And I think the more that we ask ourselves these questions and sit with ourselves, oh boy, that's, you know, that's a whole learning curve on a constant basis, isn't it? Sitting with this mind that goes completely bonkers a lot of the time. And so I just wanted to finish with a quote from Frank Ostrozewski. What he says about being whole. To be whole, we need to include, accept, and connect all parts of ourselves. Might even be bigger than that, mightn't it? We need acceptance of our conflicting qualities and the seeming incongruity of our inner and outer worlds. Wholeness doesn't mean perfection. Thank goodness for that. It means no part left out. And then, just to finish, we'll go back to this Cha ancestor, Jitu Zikwan, or however you say it. And what it began with is whatever meets your eye is the way. And then the continuation in Joan Sutherland's book is this true self you are looking for, they said, isn't just here in your heart mind, but everywhere. Everything you see is Buddha nature. Everything you see is you. This is all me. This is all you. Thank you.